Yes, we are live on a Saturday rather than Sunday due to some travel stuff, due to some life things happening. So, figured it was time to revisit the Read Duke Gen list from several months ago that we've been slowly iterating on. Main changes to this list were a couple of tweaks I wanted to make. The first one being a couple copies of Elvish Reclaimer. We played the Reclaimer aggro version of Jund from a couple weeks ago. Reclaimer kind of gives us more access to Urza's Saga. You could play something like Bajuka Bog to give you a little bit more extra utility, but I figure this is the main thing that we want is for the copies of Urza's Saga. We shifted out the 4 copies of Inquisition that were in the deck previously for increasing Thoughtseize to full 4. We are a little light on hand disruption, I will admit, but the rest of the deck is basically where it was a month or so ago, last time we streamed it. This is more of a mid-range version, so we're not running anything like Ragavan. We have the full 4 Orcish Bowmasters in this version, 4 Tarmogoyf, 2/2 split on Fable and Seasoned Pyro, 2 Shoulderids, and then the rest of the deck is just Jund favorites, Bolt and Push. It's possible these Molten Collapses should be Terminates with such a presence of prowess and stuff in the format, with haste creatures, but this one still has decent upside in a lot of matchups. And then obviously your Urza Saga package, 1 Haywire Might, 1 Nihil Spellbomb, 1 Shadow Spear, and then 2 Mishra's Baubles in the main, and then the second Haywire Might, second Nihil Spellbomb, and Pithing Needle in the sideboard. A couple copies of Engineered Explosives helps in some matchups that we kind of had some problems with last week, like go wide strategies like Goblins and Elves, which aren't frequent, but you can run into on occasion. 2 copies of Force of Vigor along with 2 Pick Your Poison for the anti-artifact stuff, along with 2 Haywire Mites, 2 Ashioks. This is primarily here for decks like Amulet, but it does have some utility as slow graveyard hate. A couple copies of Leyline in the Void along with your Ashioks and Spell Bombs as your graveyard hate, and then 1 Alpine Moon to help against things like Tron. Now, we are going to run through the good old-fashioned Friendly League today. What's up, Seeker Nay? How you do? Yeah, it was kind of a necessitated because we couldn't do the normal Sunday stream because I have to travel tomorrow to back to my parents for some stuff, so I don't feel like lugging all of the streaming stuff to there. So life happens sometimes, unfortunately. So, but we're certainly giving it a run. Like I said, it's been a minute since we've visited this version. When was the last time we actually streamed this list? Looks like it's been over a month, so. So, I guess I would like to play first. Yes. One part I do not miss about the Jund mana base. This hand is not great, but we'll keep it. So probably just lead on Forest here, or just get Overgrown Tomb. What might think we're on like Amulet or something, and immediately run into Tron. Yeah, okay, yeah, sounds about right. It's been a weird day. Like, I played a league earlier with Poseidon's version of Boros Prowess Burn, lack of a better term. And it just... I ran into like 4 out of 5 tier decks, and the 5th deck was like a bad Murktide list that was playing... So... What do I get here? Because I get basic mountain, because we're just... Yeah, it'll be up on Mondays or whenever I do the burn post for next week. So, yeah, it was a weird league. What's up, Foz? It ended up being an almost 2-hour league. Okay, card liberated, sure. This is going to be a rough game one, unfortunately. But it ended up being an almost 2-hour prowess burn league, so it was something. Tron is always a pleasure. Alpine Moon, pick your poisons, Pithing Needle, Ashiok, and Force of Vigors, Haywire Might. Down the bolts, go down the pushes. Bowmaster's middling, but okay-ish. It might be the card we have to cut, though. Hell, Spellbomb can come out. I guess Baubles can probably come out. One more cut. Bowmasters is in like this weird thing, because it can be reasonable against their cyclers, but Tan Strike. Yeah, I could see that being a surprise out of nowhere. Ashiok's not great, but at least it keeps them from reassembling Tron. I think this really isn't necessary, I don't think. So I guess we'll go with that. We're a little low on Saga targets, but Saga is a bit slow in this matchup, so the old Beseju one-lander, don't think we can keep this. His hand's alright. Even put back here. But yeah, Secret Name, the Poseidon's list was interesting. I think it took me a little bit to get used to the deck just because it was so... It's been so long. I think the card that gave me the biggest problems was remembering how to play with... what was the name of that stupid card? Light Up the Stage. I forget Light Up the Stage you actually get to get through your next turn. So... I don't know that I agree with his strategy on the lands. Like, I honestly think somewhere between his list and the other lists that top aided in the same event is better. I really think, like, the 18-ish land count is where you want to be for the Prowess burn lists. And I really wonder if you should shave, like... 1 Lutz, 1 Skewer, or just shave to Light Up the Stage. Like, I understand the thought process behind Light Up the Stage, but I really don't think, in general, the Prowess decks want to be taking time to hit their land drops on turn 1 and turn 2. And that's one of the problems I found with the deck is, you know, you get that weird, like, kind of pseudo, like, Izzet Murktide thing going. Question is, do I get the One Ring? Do I get Pithing Needle here, and do I name the One Ring, or do I name Oblivion Stone? I feel like Oblivion Stone blows us out more than the One Ring. I think the worst card at the moment would probably be Karn in a Bridge. Huh. 3, 6, 8, 9. I don't think there's any way that we can... 3, 6, 9, 10. Okay, we just have lethal if they have nothing here. Somebody outside is obnoxiously loud. Ping. Alright, that was the easy game. Opponent mulliganed to 3 and had no apparent relevant payoffs. They very well could have had Oblivion Stone in their hand, so... But I respect Poseidon a lot, because he's been doing the burn game almost as long as I have, if not longer. I don't know how long he's actually been playing the deck, but I know he was creating content with it for quite a while. But I probably would need to play the list again, but I don't think 16 is right. Just too many people go with the 18 thing with... Yeah, I think we have to keep this one just because we have Thoughtseize in the Boseiju. Alright, at least we're not going to miss our land drops. The only nice thing about the Tron matchup is our life total basically doesn't matter. Force of Vigor, Ancient Stirrings. Well, that's a funky monkey. Really don't think they should bring in Force of Vigor against us, but... Question is, which one am I supposed to lead on here? Guess we lead on Goyf. It's obviously possible we're supposed to blow up one of their Tron lands with Boseiju. Okay, so we have a turn for O-Stone before we have to deal with that. Obviously, if they top deck Tron at any point, we're in a world of trouble, but... Actually, I can't cast this turn, can I? I think our best bet's Reclaimer into draw step on Tower. Don't want to let it get their main phase, because if they had their main phase, they could float and hit 3, 8. So we have 8 damage lined up next turn. It's an interesting draw. Just going to pass here. If they draw the land, more power to them, I guess. So I could have played Bowmaster in response. I think I am going to play Bowmaster here. All right. Turn 1. Did we end up getting the Overgrown Tomb instead? It's possible. I think I was stuck with Overgrown Tomb on the brain, kind of dismissing Spyro until I saw their hand didn't have, or had the Force of Vigor. So I think I had in my brain, we drew the second fetch land, so I had get the green source in my brain, because I wanted to either go that into Thoughtseize Nagoyf or Thoughtseize into Bowmaster. So maybe I should have reevaluated after the second. Yeah, you can see the list. I haven't played this version in about a month. I didn't particularly like some of the builds of the more aggressive Jund with that was using Reclaimer and Ragavan, and it was doing the invasion of Mercia or whatever. I wasn't a huge fan of that version, just because I think Monkey is not particularly well positioned anymore. Yeah, I just haven't liked... In a meta where Lava Spikes, Bowmasters, and Renin 6s just incidentally answer your card, I'm not a huge fan of anything X1. This version I've been tweaking for like 4 or 5 months, and yeah, a lot of people have been doing Mono Black Spam. I know the whatchamacallit cat, the Tunneling Cat. They've been doing well with Jund every once in a while. I think they alternate. For a long time, they were alternating between that and Omnath builds. I think the problem with Jund is Jund is not the best at doing what it does. The scam decks are better at having I like the DRC Bobble Heat package a lot better in like a Death Shadow variant than I do in quote-unquote either Jund Saga or more traditional Jund. I don't think that Jund should be trying to be an aggressive deck per se, because I don't think Jund's a very good aggressive deck. The problems Jund has is its mana base is terrible, and Yawgmoth does what you do better. And the scam decks do what you do a little better. So you're kind of in this no man's land a little bit where you're kind of a mid-range deck without a good early game exploitation, like, you know, obviously you could play Ragavan, but like Grief Scam, and then you get outground by decks like Yawgmoth a lot of the times, unless you see the very specific subset of, you know, Leyline of the Void. If you're playing Cursed Totem, those kind of things. I've been having some success with this list, but mostly, I'm going to be completely honest, in the friendly leagues. But, you know, I've played against Tron probably 4, 5, 6 times, and it's probably been 50-50 with this list. Burn's been reasonable. Prowess has been okay.
I got stuck in bad traffic.
Murktide has been kind of a cakewalk because of Tarmogoyf. Rhinos I haven't played against much because obviously it's fallen off. I think I played against Yawgmoth once or twice. I don't think Yawg's a good matchup, and you could certainly try skewering your you could certainly try skewering your list to fight Yawgmoth, but in the end, if you're playing Jund, you've signed up to the fact that you're going to lose to certain decks. It's just kind of what happens when you sign up to play Jund. You can like skew your deck to beat certain things, but you're still going to lose to different things. Like, never in a million years are you going to beat Omnath consistently. You're not going to beat Tron consistently. You're not going to beat Amulet consistently. It's just not... You know, you can beat the other mid-range decks fairly consistently. You can tune yourself to be reasonable against the aggressive decks. You know, you can be okay against combo, but you're never going to beat, you know, big mana or fast combo or, you know, other things without giving up certain points in other matchups. So... But yeah, if I were to run DRC Bobble Heat, it would definitely be in a Shadow package. Probably like that, Ragavan, Shadow, Goyf, maybe Bowmasters, though that's starting to approach maybe too many creatures. Probably wouldn't run the Saga package. And then I might run like a couple of copies of Traverse or the... I think there was a Sultai variant that was running the Finale of Promise-esque card that was the Invasion, which allowed you to more consistently find your shadows and stuff, and increase the amount of like card types you had for, you know, your traverses and stuff, or instead of Traverse. So, just a thought if you want to run DRC Bobble. But yeah, I can definitely see the scam decks being better. I know Selfie Seek has been doing pretty good with the mono black variant that he or she has been running for forever, and Rakdos Scam has just been kind of climbed back up to being, I think, the #1 most played deck currently. So. The only downside of playing the friendly leagues is sometimes the queues take for bloody ever. That's why last week we played the normal from Modern League. For those of you not as familiar with Magic Online, long time ago there was 2 different types of leagues. There was friendly leagues and then there was competitive leagues. Then they all went to kind of this hybridization for all the leagues, you know, whether it was Standard, Modern, Pioneer. Then recently, in the last, I think, 6 months, they brought back the Modern Friendly League. Basically, the main difference is the prize structure. The prize structure is very similar, but the entry fee is 6 ticks or equivalent, as opposed to 10. So basically you're risking less. The theory being that you'll see more variety of decks and not as many tier things, I guess. Although the Burnley I played earlier, I literally played against Murktide, Amulet, Rakdos Scam, Mono Black Scam. So this hand is a tiny bit awkward because we have one of our 2 Scry lands, but I think we'll keep it. If we feel we have to interact with Thoughtseize, okay. Speaking of Amuleto, I think we lead on Theater here. I think that's good enough. So almost ideally we'd want our opponent to go Bounce Land Dryad here. I see. Well, all right, so what is better to do here? Just blow up this Amulet and Thoughtseize them, or run in 6 plus Thoughtseize? I think it's Thoughtseize plus blow this up. Why? Turn off auto yields. Thoughtseize. Okay. I think we take prime time. Get another amulet. Okay. Grazer, sure. So they get to copy the darn amulet? Sure. Yeah, black is... Actually, I should probably just blow up the copy version. Yeah, it's really hard to get, like, too wound into Modern right now anyway, because of, I feel like we're up against Timeless lists. It's really hard to get too far into Modern, simply because of MH2 on the horizon anyway, so... We getting one ringed. Green Sun's Twilight. X equals 3. Choose a creature in your hand to put the chosen card on the battlefield. Okay. It is Zusa, which is annoying. I think our game plan's literally going to be watch them play as Zusa and ping it. Yeah, Timeless is already in a funky monkey position to begin with, so... so they played Dryad instead. Is Twilight again, or is this Azusa? So the other opponent's hand is Azusa, Emrakul, and one unknown. I haven't really paid much attention to Timeless lately. I know that the show and tell decks were messing with things for a little bit, but I know, there are a lot of just random things floating around that format, so... 2, 3, 4, 5. Azusa could be very scary. Depending on if they have another bounce land in hand. Okay, so they get to Titan us, which is annoying. So they can only get 6 mana here? What a weird version of the deck. We're up against probably a version of Timeless Lotus would be my guess. Or just somebody got bored with Amulet, so they decided to slam Emrakul in it. Gotcha. Yeah, like I said, I haven't paid too much attention to Timeless lately. Curious why they got 2... where's the Sagas here? Figured they would try to haste their Titan. Yeah, I just don't have the wild cards for it. I'm doing good to have the wild cards for Explorer most of the time. Alright, so we have to threaten lethal with Shouldered. Which I presume means they block Shouldered. No, I guess they have to... Yeah, they have to block Shouldered. Go to 1. Pretty sure their hand is Azusa Emrakul, so just pass and they're dead. Oh, wow, I'm an idiot. Oh, Lord. I'm like, oh, I have Shouldered in play. Never mind, I could have literally pinged them to death. I was like, despite the mistake, unless our opponent can cast the Emrakul, I think we win this game. Alright, that was way too close. Pithing Needle, Haywire Might. I don't know that Alpine Moon we want it, but bolts don't do a whole lot. Wobble is kind of whatever. Not a Nihil Spellbomb matchup. Yeah. Is Bowmasters even worth it in this matchup? Like, yeah, it allowed us to gun down their stuff last game, but that was because our opponent specifically had Cultivator Colossus. Yeah. Guess we keep it. Green card, please. Come on, give me a green card deck. Yeah, I can imagine. One's going to be on the... Oh, I'm an idiot. Like, oh, I needed a green card. Actually, I suppose this works out nicely because I just get to get the two. Nice. Alright, I do think we go with the shouldered here makes the most sense. They could Titan us next turn, which is annoying because it's a 6/6, and we only have so many ways to kill it, but... I wonder if they realize that they are 1 mana short currently. presume they just chum block. They do not. Do have the multiple Lotus Fields, which is good to know about. Really would love to find one of our copies of Molten. Don't really want to show them the second Ashiok, but presume this is going after Ashiok. Just let it happen, doesn't do us any good. Second Titan. Yeah, Feel the Dead is banned in Modern. That's even better. Sheoldred's been such a clutch card so many times. I was gonna say, you know you're dead, right? Timeless is its own little arena concoction that I honestly do think at some point that they're going to try to get all of the formats on arena or have some adjacent-esque formats. Like, obviously Explorer is going to eventually be Pioneer. I think Historic is supposed to be the closest you get to Modern, and then Timeless is supposed to be Legacy/Vintage. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if they eventually get Legacy on Arena, but Vintage ends up being just Timeless. So, hard to say, because I don't know what their arrangement with whatchamacallit is. the company that took an outside company, I think it's Daybreak Games, took over Magic Online. Wizards is actually no longer in charge of Magic Online. Because Daybreak handles a lot of like old legacy games, like I want to say they handle the EverQuest stuff. I'm not sure what else is in their arsenal, but I know Daybreak has a reputation for older games, and Magic Online certainly is that. I wouldn't be surprised if Modern and Pauper end up being the main formats for Magic Online, and then Arena ends up being the de facto standard and Pioneer flagships. So, nice thing about Arena is you can, given enough time, play it for free. Magic Online, it's never free. Some people can go infinite. Doesn't take that much to go infinite on MTGO, but the value grind is very low these days with treasure chests and stuff just being so depleted in value. MH3 might flip that around a little bit, but that remains to be seen. I think the Daybreak, unfortunately, Daybreak has done a lot of good things for MTGO. They fixed some of the bugs that were around. They've done much better with, I think, people interaction. But the one thing they have done is with all of the new events, including basically challenges every day, and they've really kind of watered down the economy to the point where your RTI is very low if you're trying to be pretty much exclusively an MTGO grinder. Not that it was ever great before, but it certainly has gotten a little bit worse. So we are on the play for this game. We cannot keep the one-lander. This hand is less than ideal, but we'll try it. So the problem with this hand, any hand early with Urza Saga, where Urza Saga is your second land, can potentially be a problem. This is a weird one where we want Goyf and we want Bolt and Push, but maybe one of those situations where we have to get, I guess we could potentially get Tri-Land here. Still have the Tri-Land on the list? Yeah, just get the Tri-Land here. Yeah, Modern's in kind of a weird situation where, you know, the format's balanced, but I don't know that it's enjoyable. Which is a really weird situation for a format to be in. And I haven't played Paper in some amount of time, and it's probably a lot less. I should say I haven't played Paper Modern in some time. It's probably a lot less. Yeah, this is a Saga list. It's a more mid-range Saga list, but it's a Saga list. But this can be the problem with Saga in terms of your land base. So, really need to draw a third land here. Well, I mean, I guess let me see if we can draw out a Spell Pierce. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Really hate doing that shirt trick. It's not something I enjoy doing whatsoever. But it didn't look like they had anything anyway. So they have no instants or sorceries in the graveyard. I don't think I really care about a 3/3 Murktide right now. Well, you do know that Shadow Spear gets around hexproof, right? Well, that's not the best of timing, but... wonder if I'm just supposed to jam... Actually, I'm kind of an idiot here, but... I was about to jam Fable, but I really need to go Thoughtseize into Goyf. Suspect this is just going to bite a counterspell. And they need Unholy Heat plus Bolt, or double Unholy Heat. Bless you. It's one way to put the board into a stalemate. JK. Well, it should be knowing something's up, that I'm not just main phasing. Hopefully they don't have Subtlety main deck, but it does not look like they do, so... Actually, if they go to combat, I should probably Nihil Spellbomb this. Because Murktide... No, I guess we need their graveyard around for Tarmogoyf. Probably going to cast a Preordain or something here. Take the 3 and link it. I am going to leave... Like I say, I was going to leave the Orc token back in case they have a monkey to dash. Because Lord knows we don't want to run into a weird situation where they get us with a monkey finder removal spell off of our deck. This makes no sense. Haywire Might is a consideration against specifically I mean, it's okay against Bragathan, and it's okay against Blood Moon. Pick Your Poison is a narrow option. Let's see what I'm not interested in. I guess I'm not interested in Thoughtseize, even though it does help push through potential Blood Moon shenanigans. Not Blood Moon, Thoughtseize, or counter spells. Tempted to shave a Saga here, because their plan's probably going to be very heavily reliant on Blood Moon against us, because we're already a stretch 3-color mana base. I think on the draw it's not crazy to take out a Saga. This hand is potentially very good. The only downside to this hand is the lack of access to a swamp. And by swamp I mean basic swamp. We obviously had access to swamps in the form of dual lands, but yeah, I feel like they're on the Blood Moon plan. Just call me crazy, but doing nothing here, just feel like they're on the Blood Moon plan. And I should have fetched the Raucous Theater. Just gonna fetch basic forest and jam nothing, I guess. No sense in playing in a counter spell here. Good chance that they're just gonna jam Blood Moon next turn. I royally screwed up my fetching. Okay, well, no Blood Moon yet. At least doesn't die to Bolt, although I have a feeling it's going to eat a counter spell. Or Spell Snare. Sure. It's a card that's making the rounds again in Murktide, I forgot. So they'll force their hand on the Blood Moon if they have one. They may have been hoping to get value off of Blood Moon, so Okay, there's a DRC. So one of the problems that Yawgmoth has against our build of this, not Yawgmoth, Murktide has, is if they don't have Blood Moon or Alpine Moon, Urza Saga just kind of buries them. Do I even grab here? Mm-hmm. So the reason why I did that is I don't want Murktide coming down and being any type of reasonable threat right now. Okay, does this one resolve? Mm-hmm. It's going to leave that Mishra's Bauble chill for the moment. Okay. Interesting strategy. So I definitely feel like there is a Murktide in our future. I think that is the only likely reason our opponent is spewing so many resources, dealing with all that they're dealing with here. Okay. Okay, opponent's going to play DRC and me. You have a Murktide too? Sure. A null. It's a kind of a brave card to add to your deck. I'm gonna equip the Bowmasters just in case. Their plan is like, I guess that wouldn't. I guess the plan that I'm thinking of, dive down into Ragavan, wouldn't quite work because it would take away Ragavan's haste. I guess you could potentially do it in combat, but then Ragavan, that's nothing. So. I'm only going to attack with the construct tokens in case they're flashing in subtlety here. Nope, there's the dress down we figured they might have. Guess we jam this. I say this is probably in the counter spell. So we're drawing a land. Not yet, Doyle. I haven't seen really a reason to. Maybe I'll have to take a look at that and Lava Spur Boots. Yeah, Stern Scolding is really good. Goyf, Bowmass. Well, it doesn't always counter Goyf. Because I believe it's, what, 3... No, it's Spell Snare. Okay, well, that at least lets us attack into a subtlety, I suppose. Sure. I think the opponent's a little too worried about artifacts here. Feels like they have too many reactive cards and not enough pro action in their deck. I'm going to use this Verdant Catacombs as the sacrifice for Reclaimer. Oh, that would be... I mean, that wouldn't be GG, but that would be kind of not fair. I'm hoping this eats whatever counterspell they have in their hand. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, and the opponent concedes. I will be right back. After these messages, we'll be right back. Look at that new GT. Oh, Doyle. Can't remember the name of it, but The new Jitty. Jitty Jitty Bang Bang, Jitty Jitty Boom. Last Jite. Never equip creature deals combat damage, put 1 charge counter on last Jite. Tap target land, target creature can't block, put a +1/+1 counter on equipped creature. Trying to think if we wanted to test that, or even Lava Spur Boots, like what cut do we make is the problem. Like this list is very tight on space, so it's kind of hard to make a whole bunch of adjustments to test cards. Well, that's just it. Is like it and Lava Spur Boots both could be reasonable in spots, and there could even be some like crazy situations you could get into, like where you could like use Jite to untap an Urza Saga, make a second token in a turn. Just going to leave on Proving Grounds. Arid Mesa usually means Prowess Burn or Creativity. Either Prowess or Creativity, I'm not sure which. Okay, most likely Creativity. So I'm going to Thoughtseize this turn in case they have Fable here. Bolt, Trans. Did at least confirm that they're on Creativity. Left card on top, so that could easily be Creativity, unfortunately. Not Creativity. It's kind of a weird situation, right? So we want to leave up Bowmaster here. But I still want to try to... I guess we just use the Surveil land. We just play a slow and steady game. Like, I could run Reclaimer out here, but Reclaimer is just going to run face first into a Bolt. And the other problem we're going to run into is if our opponent graveyards and hits a persist, so... It's possible we're playing too slow of a game. Running ticks. Pick up a fetch land. Play a fetch land. Yeah, I'm fine with that. Curious what they kept on top. Not going to pick up a land just to keep Reclaimer out of bolt range here, basically. I'm honestly surprised they're not fetching Norman Mine. What's the Bog doing? Well, if they have another land, we could be in some trouble. Okay. One, two, three, four, five, six. Guess we should just attack with Reclaimer if I was going to play She-Oldrad. Is that an artifact? Is not. Okay, so how do I best threaten lethal here? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So 4, 7, 9, 10. So if I attack with everything, they have to block. Or they're dead. on board. And I think, unless they block just Shouldered, that they're just dead, period. So, keep checking to see if that's an enchantment, and it is not. I'm an idiot, by the way. I could have just pinged this down and ended the game, so. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I could have just pinged that down and we would have ended the game this turn. You draw creativity to punish us. Hardcast Archon. We should have won this game, but I threw it away. Is there any way to salvage it? Mm-hmm. Do you have yet another bolt to kill us? Nope, just have the persist. Okay. Alright, Layla and the Void's in. Ashiok's in. EE's a debatable one. Force of Vigor is a debatable one. Boil, not so much. Alpine Moon could be okay. Pick your poisons. A little middling. Haywire Might could be okay. Nihil Spellbomb could be okay. Pushes Baubles out. Beetle pushes out. That's good though, Doyle. I'm glad you're enjoying the format. Keep. Probably should have actually bottomed that, but oh well. Go ahead. Raucous Theater. I mean, I think that's gotta be a card that we keep on top. Well, I think we go ahead and leave the rest on top. Force them to use one of their removal spells they were probably planning on pitching. Mm-hmm. And if we somehow get out of this turn alive, or them not resolving a Archon of some type, we could be in good shape. Okay, her opponent has Fatal Push, which is kind of annoying here, but... Mm-hmm. Alright, that's pretty significant to add to our clock here. And we can now push Seasoned Pyromancer if they want. Doesn't look like they do. Can't play Pyro here, or we have to pitch Orcish Bowmasters. So. Mm-hmm. What you got going on over there, friend? Then you got Fatal Push, so... yeah, that's fine. Again, as much as I wanted to just jump the Bowmasters in there, they still have fetch lands, so if they draw Creature to transmogrify, we just kind of have to hold on. Okay, I'm fine with pitching that. Each land. Haywire Might. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Spell bomb. Spell bomb, ba bum bum bum. Go 3. Mm-hmm. Alright, so we won. Now on to game 3. Engineered explosives. Cute, but a little too cute. Boil, no. Force of vigor, middling. Pick your poison, middling. Pithing needle, could name run in 6. Probably about the only thing in their deck we would care about. Bolt and push are mostly middling. And then that, so. No, Gargamel, I don't think so. I think Bowmasters is enough to manage most of their tokens, other than, obviously, Fable. And I think it's just a bit of a trap. What does this hand do? This hand does absolutely nothing, so we got a mulligan. This hand also similarly does nothing, but I do think we can risk leading on turn 1 Saga. Unless they have the absolute nut draw, Spellbomb will come in before they can persist. So I think I'm inclined to keep this hand, put back Proving Ground. By the way, I presume you're the same Gargamel from MTGO. I every once in a while run into you in these leagues, so if that you are one and the same. Yeah, if they have, I was gonna say, if they hit like they seriously board in Pick Your Poison? Okay, sure. Sets us back a turn, but really nothing we can do about it. I guess they had to after getting kind of dumpstered on by Saga. Yep, good old Fable. I understand. Not everybody that plays Magic Online or Magic is English speaking. think we keep that just as an answer to Fable here in a turn or two. It's possible I should just have popped the Fable, keep them from having persist, but at this point we're just trying to cover too many bases, and I think we need to get on the board. Guess they just pitch a couple lands, but we still are basically dead to a creativity or transmogrify. You have the creativity? Looks like it. Ironically, if they do it post-combat, they get... Oh, okay, they get Polish Bog, sure. I was going to say, if they got Transmogrify here, they'd actually get more stuff in if they... okay, they're just going to Fatal Push Goyf. Stomping Ground. Pitching, what, Fable Reclaimer? Okay, running ticks is annoying, but not unbeatable. Okay, so they only have one card in hand. Cast Thoughtseize. It's a land. Don't really like feeding them lands here. Shouldn't have played Haywire Might. I forgot that they cannot target creature enchantments. So... yeah, it's a creature, so I couldn't target it. I forget Haywire. Sometimes I forget Haywire Might has that restriction. Take the 3. Force them to chump block here. Well, trade, not chump block. Alright, they left a card on top, so I'm only assuming we're dead here. Yeah. I threw away game one, so... it happens. So I missed an opportunity game one to ping my opponent's Fable token with a run in 6, cast on the run in 6, ping. And then I had, I think, exactly lethal on board. They chump blocked Shouldered and then bolted it, and then untapped and cast Archon, which stabilized the game enough. We won game 2, and then game 3. We were on the back foot a little bit, and some small mistakes were made, but I don't think it would have mattered in the face of what our opponent had going on there. So, we should have won 2 of the 3 games, but I punted game 1. So, it happens. And thanks for the follow, Gargamel, by the way. The only downside of these friendly leagues is just the time between rounds sometimes. Like, with only, about 200 people are in the league at a time, maybe 5-10 are actually playing at a time. So far, we've played against Saga, a version of Amulet, Murktide, and it's sad that I'm drawing a blank on what the other one was. Oh, Tron round 1. Dirt. And our loss was to probably the closest of the 4 matchups. Go figure. So James, I would not say the Jund is consistently good or anything, but what I would say is you can build Jund in such a way that you can beat even the unfair strategies. So I've had a couple of matches against Amulets. I don't have a ton of data on that. Tron I have probably 5 or 6 matchups against with this, something similar to this build. And it's been 50-50. Living End, not enough data. And Yawgmoth, probably only 1 or 2 matchups. I think Yawgmoth has been the only matchup that feels like it's doing what you're doing, but better. In terms of being grindy, mid-range, plus combo. I think Jund can be built in a way to at least... Now this is the proviso. Pre-MH3, I think Jund can be built in a way to be competitive in Modern. At least in, the lower scale, leagues, FNMs, maybe even challenges. I'm not sure. I don't really play challenges much due to just time constraints and other things. But I think this deck has a reasonable Rakdos Scam matchup. I think it has a reasonable Izzet Murktide matchup. I think Tron is close. It's probably still in Tron's favor, but there's enough going on with this build that's fine. Living End and Rhinos. Rhinos is largely, at least pre-Violent Outburst ban, kind of relied on Tarmogoyf a lot. And Living End, just, I think it's a matter of having your hate line up right. And we certainly have a lot of potential graveyard pieces of hate. 2 ley lines, 2 spell bombs, 2 Ashioks. Don't know that's always enough, but... And then you should have an okay Prowess matchup, an okay Burn matchup. The only matchups I really don't like seeing are Yogg and Amulet, and I don't think that Amulet is the most unreasonable with this configuration. I think Yogg is really the only matchup I don't want to be staring across the table from of the top matchups and feel like that we're going to have a reasonable shot, especially in the post-board games. Now, I could try to rearrange this deck to beat Yogg, but I'm fine having at least one matchup where I know I'm a dog and there's skewering my deck to try to beat that just isn't worth it. Well, Saga is the key to being able to play a long, grindy game. That's why I think in this version, with the 2 Reclaimers, the 4 Wrens, the 4 Sagas, you have reasonable game plans against most of the mid-range decks of the format. I probably wouldn't want to sit across the table from Omnath either, but I'm not going to skewer my meta to beat Omnath Piles and Yogg. If I can have a 50-50 shot or better against almost every other deck in the format and be a noted dog to Yogg and Omnath, I think I'm fine with that. Pick 2 Picker Poison and 2 can't keep a 5-lander, no matter how tempting it is. Same doesn't much better, but I think we'll keep it. Well, they've always been hard to beat for Jund, so I mean, that's not a... The way to beat a mid-range deck is to be a slightly bigger mid-range deck. That's been like Magic 101. So Jund has always lost to the equivalent of 4 color. Okay, looks like we have some style of artifact deck. Affinity, perhaps? Looking for a threat of some kind. The 4 color decks really come down to Omnath or bust, basically. Have you ever kind of felt bad for somebody, but then realized that your sympathy just went out the window? Like, the problem we have here is we're going to set our opponent back basically to the Stone Age this turn, but without pressure soon, they can eventually rebuild. So, but basically the 4 color decks, they're clunky, they're a little bit slow, they rely on Solitude and used to be Fury to stay alive. And without Uro in the format, really their only true life gain method, okay, that is going to have to be good enough. They'll force us to pitch something here. Not pitch something. Surveil away a land. But yeah, that matchup comes down to, can they slow burn long enough to land Omnath and start gaining life? You know, whether it be ring bridges, whether it be solitudes, whether it be enough counter magic or interaction. But it all comes down to, can they survive long enough to go Omnath plus fetch land? It's certainly possible it is. Yeah, that card's going to be very hard to beat. Especially in combination with a Saga. So 1, 2. I don't think pushing an extra point of damage is worth bolting when we probably need this as a removal spell. At least I have a basic mountain to fetch if nothing else, so. Why would they make that main phase? It goes to 5 and to 3. Mm-hmm. I think Edict would have been better a month or so ago when Zoo was more prevalent. The thing is, Zoo and the Scion Leyline decks are a little bit of a one-trick pony. And yeah, it's just the kind of stuff that gets really annoying. I mean, congratulations, you've stabilized the board, but Sheoldred and Bowmaster are going to kill you. Alright. Engineer explosives in. Pick your poison. And Alpine Moon in. Haywire Might in. Don't know. So, Frogmite. See if Pithing Needle is even worth it right now. Yeah, those relics were kind of one-ofs. So now he'll Spell Bomb out, Mishra's Bobble's out. Need that, need those. Like, what is... What am I... Is it the Thoughtseizes? Not doing anything for the first couple turns unless we draw a green card. Could be a little rough. Alright, pass turn. Yeah, that suffices for our green card requirements, so... How does that stupid card work? Never another... Just the battlefield under your control. Okay. With 4 artifacts, we may be forced to pitch Force of Vigor here. We'll wait to see if we draw another green card. This is actually dumb in case they have Metallic Rebuke. Sure. Mm-hmm. Pass. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Sure. Opponent realize they can't actually attack. Not attack, they can't bloop. Alright, so we got the 4-1. Could have been a 5-0 if I wouldn't have punted against Creativity game 1. I mean, we've had some bad outings with this deck. I think we had a 2-3 or a 3-2 a month or so ago when we were into like double Tron on the back end of the league. But overall, this deck has performed very well, or this build of the deck has performed well. We've had a couple of 5-0s at minimum over the last like 4 or 5 months. It just continues to feel like it has the tools for almost every matchup. I don't think it's perfect by any means, and I don't even know that I'd want to take it into a challenge, but for leagues, for FNMs, you know, this version of the deck feels pretty reasonable. The Thoughtseizes, we didn't run into any burn or prowess, which really are the biggest punishment for running Thoughtseize, as opposed to Inquisition. The Reclaimers were good for what we wanted them for, which was basically more access to Urza's Saga, a way to fetch them out of the deck. And the rest of the deck is just basically what it's been for the last several months. I don't know that I would make any current adjustments to the list, although I'm sure there are, you know, improvements that could be made depending on your own preferences for Jund. But 4-1 that easily could have been a 5-0 without a punt. It happens. Well, thank everybody for hanging out. Sorry there won't be a stream tomorrow night, but that's why we had the stream tonight. If you are new to the channel, please consider giving us a follow here on Twitch and a subscribe over on MTG Nexus on YouTube. And we hope to see you for next Sunday's stream. I'm presuming there shouldn't be any hitches with that, just with the holiday weekend and all here in the US. So, anyways, everybody have a good day. This has been John for MTG Nexus. See ya.